Rajiv is a co-founder of Utix Gigabits, and over to him to share how they're going about creating and impacting farmers through this solution that they have on the disease and pest management system. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mukta. I hope you can hear me. And thanks for inviting us and to be a part of the Kisan Mitra setup. So Utix Gigabits, the name needs a little bit of explanation. So Gida is plant in Kannada and bits is information bits. So what you're trying to do is trying to see if you can use leverage technology, provide information and do something for the plants. And broadly what we are doing is we are creating systems to gather data from the farms and provide in a step-by-step scientific knowledge for crop management. And disease and pest management system is part of that. And just to tell you like what exactly is the problem, and see this disease and pest is a huge problem for farmers. If you look at the data and all, it ranges from 15% to 25% of the pre-harvest losses across crops. And the management is a challenge because see, no farmer is going to stop spraying just because you tell them so, or no, the world is not turning organic overnight, or nobody is stopping this chemical sprays and all that. So this leads to like tremendous problems, right? Like the problem of pesticide residues in the whole food chain and all that. So the question we are asking is, can we do anything better? Like, is there anything available which will allow us to do effective management and also provide in sort of like an early warning system for the farmers? Now the challenges, the status quo is that, see, the technology exists in the sense that, see, Government of India has a lot of institutes and people have spent, there are a lot of researchers who have spent 30 years like researching an insect or researching a sort of disease, and they know what needs to be done. The only problem is that researcher cannot be everywhere. And then we ask the next best question, that can we take whatever the researcher has done maybe for one setup, and can you try replicating it across the setup so that each and every farmer can get it? Now, in India, you have like two tremendous revolutions post 2016. One is the availability of mobile data with everybody, because now you have geo plans, and second is the UPI, so people can pay you from the farm. So what we are seeing is that's a problem. It's a challenging problem, but yeah, the R&D exists, and a lot of R&D exists. So this is in fact, the scale is a challenge, and the expert cannot be everywhere. So what we are doing is that we are talking to the expert, trying to see how these things happen, and then asking if we can do a system around that. So if you look at the image, there is an expert who is at the field and who is explaining what is happening to, there's a curly leaf that is happening, but he has to go and explain it. So can we do something better? Can we really create a personalized system for a farmer, which will tell him what to do, and how do we manage to do that at a cost that will make sense for him? So this is the part of Utix Gigabit. So what we do is that we have sensors at the farm, which can give you very accurate micro weather data. And if you want, you can also make use of other data sources that are available. And then you put it through the model. So agriculture typically has three kind of people for our kind of a problem. One are the general agronomists, second are the crop experts, and third are the modelers. So we take the models from the modelers and we run the analysis on the data that we have collected from the farm. And the models can be heuristics. See, people even have got like simple models, like if temperature stays below this line and if humidity stays below that line, if the rain happens, then yeah, you have higher chances of this disease happening. And this analysis will vary from disease to disease, and the sensors will vary. So what we do is that we set up one box or the device at the farm, and the farm, you can get sensor data from the farm. And then using that and your software, which is mostly an encoding of what the researcher would have done at one setup, you are able to deliver an early warning. And the second part is that, see, just giving early warning is not enough. You also have to see, one of the biggest challenges is that can you take people through effective chemical management, right? So one is that, okay, I'm trying to prevent losses. That is the farmer's view or the short-term view, right? There's also a big challenge that can we do something about all these residues in the food supply chain, and can we manage it better? So because right now what happens is that the farmer will go to the informal networks, the distributors, and people just keep dumping, right? So you have like agronomists on board who can look at all the data. Farmer can send data from the field using our mobile app. Then you have sensors and mobile app that is giving all this data. Crop agronomists, software working on that data, and the results can be delivered back to the farm. Now, what kind of a people it is working for right now? Right now the cost of delivery is not, I would say, for everyone, right? So we are primarily working with the fruit and vegetable growers in and around Bangalore, and I think Dr. Ashok mentioned Bagalkot, so we are also working with people in Jamkhandi FPO for grape. So right now it is available for grape, pomegranate, capsicum, and guava and cucumber in some bits, and tomato. And people pay at the start of the season. They can get the app, we get the device installed, and they can start getting the early warning as well as the chemical management, and they can also expert and consultant if they so want to do that. So that is how the system works, and system does other calculations as well. Let's say you have 40-acre plots. Then you can also look at wind direction and say how to do the spraying. You can look at delta T and say what are the best spray timings for the absorption, right? If you have a forecast for rain, then you say don't do the spraying right now, right? So it actually guides you, step by step. So, and there are two views to it. One is, the agronomist kind of a view where people are experts and they would like a lot of information. But for the grower, it is more like a calendar that, okay, next 7 days, what to do, today, what to do, kind of a calendar in easy and a vernacular language for whoever you are using. So right now we have Hindi, we have Kannada, and we also have English, which surprisingly, a lot of people are actually using English version also. And what is the big source? It's not that, like I said, the R&D exists, and as a commercial venture, we are trying to solve what are the solvable problems and not typically R&D problems. And I think the biggest problem challenge here is, can you distribute at a scale? Can you make a system where people can call? Can people start getting data to what crop they are doing, at what time in the season cycle they are doing, and effective management, right? So who are we working with? Right now, we are working with people in Melur, in Chikballapur, in Chintamani, Kolar, Bagalkot, and Bijapur areas. And like I said, these are mostly what you can categorize as fruit and vegetable growers, and maybe slightly richer people. So one of the challenge for us is also that, can we bring the cost of delivery down so that, it can start reaching even people who are right now, the cost of delivery is higher for them. So one of the models that we are looking for to do that is that working with partners. So we are working in Rajasthan with some partners on board the growers, and the same system you can deploy using the partners, or using the partners networks. And if you look at it, we see the possibility. See, one of the good things about a digital system becomes that you can scale it very effectively, right? Because the systems are already in place. So if you want to plug a new model, let's say like we did for soybean in Rajasthan, what would be needed? What would be needed is that some expert who has done soybean for quite some time and understands what kind of models would be effective, what things to measure, and like that, and we can import that in the system, and all the growers can start getting that. So everybody talks about technology, but let me also talk a little bit of the community aspect of it, that how such systems can work and what kind of people can make it work. So one is definitely very much the farmer, right? Because without his input, without his willingness to try, a lot of things are not going to work out. And there we are spending some time educating people about the uses, doing this Kishan Vartas and going to the field and talking to the people. There are also the R&D folks that you definitely need, because a commercial venture always looks for solvable problems, not intractable problems, right? That will go into the R&D domain. Then we have people who are general agronomists, who are sort of crop experts generally don't tend to go and talk to people in the field, because even in agriculture there would be 35 odd domains, and you need general agronomists. And then you need people who have been working with farmers, like NGOs, NFPOs, and all that. So that's the sort of collaboration we look for. If you're an R&D guy, you know for sure some crop, you would need that expertise imported in the system and distributed to the farmers. Yeah, we can work together. if you're an FPO or NGO who have a lot of farmers suffering from some setups and you want the system deployed, yes, we can talk and we can do that. And of course, the growers who would like to try out this system. So we are Uptix. We are in Bangalore. We are in HSR layout, and the number you can call. You also have a support email, and I will also leave my contact. So in case you would want to get in touch. So I hope I've given you an overview of this system, and we hope to talk to some of you outside of this meeting also. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that lovely presentation, Rajiv. Since you're on YouTube, I also suggest that you can go ahead and share a link of the work that you've been doing so that people will understand a little more. And I also keep this for, open now to Ms. Mamta as well as Rahul, in case you have a video that you would want to show about